This is central Ukraine, one of the most picturesque areas of the country. Here, nature created a marvelous landscape in which forests, rivers, lakes and little villages, surrounded by open fields, fit harmoniously. This land of plenty is situated far away from cities and was not significantly affected by urban agglomeration. That allowed preserving its environmental cleanliness, authentic culture and look into mysterious historical past. These were the factors that had influenced my choice of future place for living. My name is Vasily. I am Ukrainian. This is my motherland. I was born and spent my childhood here. Then, as fate would have it, I lived in Russia for 36 years. I have visited its endless expanses and made many videos, but no matter how beautiful were the faraway lands, I was always felt drawn to the place where I was born. And now I came back. And if someone asked me if I have a house here, I would answer no. Do I have friends? I'd answer the same. I have nothing here and must start from the very beginning. Probably some of you would be surprised by such a strange decision. Let it be so. But I am awesomely happy because I'm looking forward to new adventures, interesting life in the country, and new meetings in the heavenly place called Ukraine. A year ago, I left Russia and moved to Ukraine, having only a laptop computer with me. Frankly speaking, it was a start from scratch. I didn't associate my unclear future with the city life. The scenes of nature attracted me far more than the hustle and bustle of the city. I wished to live near a big forest, pure river, and where I could enjoy the view of the horizon, engulfing the sun every evening. It's not difficult to find such an isolated place, but somewhere deep inside me I understood that living in a complete loneliness would not be comfortable for me. That is why I settled down in an undistinguished village, where I bought a little house with all the stuff in it and a huge land plot. I bought this Ukrainian hut last spring. Local villages are full of such houses built according to the same project. They have some differences only in the inner planning and outbuildings. The doorsteps, the door, then the terrace, and next the entrance to the house. I fell in love with this house from the first visit. Such authentic decor is rarely seen nowadays. When making renovations, people tend to move away all the antiques and turn their dwellings into urban flats. That kind of art was usually found in every home, and it was created over the years. People usually don't have much to do in their garden in winter time. It gets dark early, and that's why women had a lot of spare time. During long winter evenings, the ladies of the house were making those embroidered items. Those who had looms made clothes and colorful rugs. The men tended to livestock and repaired household utensils. In that way the house was gradually filled with the fruit of the hands of their inhabitants. Nowadays, only a few appreciate the masterpieces created by their ancestors. A lot of the vintage handcrafts get thrown away. I couldn't allow myself doing so. Therefore, I collected all the embroidered towels and pictures and had them restored. After I finish renovations, some of them will be returned to their places. I collect the masterpieces of our folk art, restore them and propose to those people who appreciate the past. At the end of this video you can find a link to the catalogue of ancient ethnic works which you can order for decoration or your private collection. This is my home inside. I decided not to turn my house into a modern flat and not to fill it with artificial materials. I am making a simple repair which is not finished yet. Please enter the house. This is what the house looked like inside. It has 3 rooms, one big and 2 smaller bedrooms. I just whitewashed the walls, changed the wiring, upgraded the heating system and replaced the windows. What's remaining is restoring the floor and building a fireplace. For sure, some of you will ask me why that hay of bale is lying in the middle of the room. It's very simple. I took some fresh hay earlier this summer to spread the fragrance of field herbs and flowers. The walls are made of clay. They absorb fragrances well and then release them back in winter, filling the house with freshness. And if I'd put wallpapers, like many villagers do, the whole ecological value of the house would have disappeared. That hay contains many different herbs and smells delicious. And here's my bedroom. Despite the fact that the house is gasified and equipped with heating radiators, I have preserved its main attraction, a Ukrainian wood stove named Hruba, which heats the whole house. Many people, when making house renovations, dismantle these stoves to increase the living space. I decided to keep it. In cold winters, getting back from the forest, I like to fire the stove, lie down on the couch and enjoy it. It's useful to warm the old bones. Our ancestors knew a lot about natural warmth. Also, you can bake bread or cook the real Ukrainian borscht in it. And I brought some innovation into my bedroom as well. I again put some hay and lavender on the stove. Now I fall asleep and wake up as if I am in the middle of the flowering meadow, listening birds chirping and roosters crowing.
В открытое окно пение птиц, голоса петухов, и еще долго лежу, наслаждаюсь деревенским утром.
My house was built 60 years ago. At that time, all over Ukraine they started building brick houses that replaced old huts. The houses built before are called mazanka here, which means a cob house. They were easy and cheap to build. First they built a wooden frame with lathwork, then plastered it with cob. Cob is a natural plaster made of clay mixed with chopped straw. After the walls dried, the house was whitewashed from outside. That is why those old houses are called mazanki. Nowadays, you can find an old, abandoned and dilapidated mazanki in villages. Initially, they were covered with straw or reeds. Then builders began to use shingles, asbestos or iron instead of straw. In such kind of abandoned huts, you can find a lot of interesting stuff. I am interested to find old household utensils. I collect and restore them and put them in my little home museum. What kind of utensil is it? It spent a lot of time here. It's heavy. Among the finds, sometimes there are things whose purpose is difficult to determine. Usually, uninhabited houses are surrounded by the thickets of trees and bushes. A hero of the USSR lived in this house. The house has been abandoned for a long time. It was built after the Second World War. Let's see how it looks like now. It's very hard to make it through the thicket. It's so dense that using a machete would be the right thing to do. These are wild sour cherry trees. They grow fast and transform terrain into a jungle. This is a summer kitchen, and the house is further ahead. In Ukraine, usually people have more structures in the yard in addition to the house. Summer kitchen is like a second house, where people cook food, make jam, dry fruits, and make moonshine in summer. But how to get through the jungle? Who go through with difficulty. The windows are double-framed. The cotton wool lays between the frames in order to prevent fogging of the glass in winter. The window frames have some simple decor. Before they used to make many windows in the house to get more sun and light in it. Every house has a porch. This is almost ruined here. The door is opened. We enter the inner porch. There is a bench against the wall, an antique shelf, a stool, and this is an opening in the ceiling leading to the attic. And here is a komora, a little cold food storage pantry. In winter, komoras were used as refrigerators. And here is the entrance to the living part of the house. There is a complete mess inside. Every hut has a Ukrainian stove with a couch on it. Stove was used to heat the whole house. The house was visited by scrap collectors, the metal hunters. They destroyed the stove with the couch looking for the scrap metal. There is a carpet with deers on the wall, quite well preserved and beautiful. And this is a bench. Such kind of benches were always standing against the walls in every house. The guests would sit on them, children play games, you could also put or store things on them. And this is a handmade furniture typical for a village house. The stool was made without a single nail. It was repaired using nails after it was broken. The chair made of willow looks fragile, but it is light and durable. Here is another bench. And this is a shelf for dishes. My grandma had one like this on the wall. There are no old dishes in the house. There are only modern bottles and jars. But there is an original decanter for Ukrainian moonshine. Pretty old. You won't buy such a kind nowadays. And here is a real masterpiece. Clothes hanger with wooden hooks. Earlier, a lot of household goods were made of wood. The stove lid is lying on the floor. It was used to close it after cooking. Dishes were kept warm in the stove for the whole day. And here is a clay pot lid. In earlier days, the dishes for stoves were made of clay. Later metal pots appeared. They called them here chuguni, or cast iron pots. They are durable and versatile. Let's see the attic. Wow, I think I'm lucky. It's a storehouse of village antiques. Here is a loom, casks and a lot of wooden items. Such kind of finds are rare. It's dangerous to walk on the old attic. The ceiling may collapse. Looks like these are scattered parts of the loom. And this is its heart, the wheel. I can't believe it. It's a real antique treasure. Here is a cask made of solid piece of wood. This is rarity. One more cask, cracked a bit, and there are more casks. I haven't seen such casks at my grandma's in childhood. This is a chimney. It's well insulated. A canister, very old and rusty. And this is a real pickling cask for tomatoes, apples and cabbage. I will take it home for pickling apples like in old times. An old clay pot, sooty, seems it has been in the oven many times. And this is a comb for yarn spinning, made of a solid piece of wood. This is the spinning wheel foot pedal, all made of wood.
Старинная вещь,
Looks like
достойная
oak,
любого музея.
very heavy
А
parts.
ну, нога тут хозяйка давила. А вот. Типа,
And this is probably a
есть
bobbin
пряжа здесь
for
намокла.
winding thread. And these are rollers
Это
through
клея.
which the thread was passed and directed.
Вешали.
Most likely it is the brake. So much is unclear. I should go to the museum and see the assembled spinning wheel. What a heavy stuff!
Удобно, как она
How could women lift it up?
полностью
I'm
разобрана.
so lucky. I came across the whole storage of village antiques, which will fill in my home museum. If it's left here, it will all be lost. It's covered with a layer of dust and dirt. I have long dreamed about such a spinning wheel. I'll put it near the fireplace.
А это вот бочка. Тоже бочка. Во.
A thresher, that's how this simple instrument is called. In old times, when there were no combines, people threshed wheat using these two sticks tied together.
Молотить пшеницу.
And this one is totally incomprehensible mechanism for me. Looks like a mop.
Штуковина.
What was it used for? I still can't explain it.
Запулена как
Probably they were used to prop something or to open at a height. There are several mops laying over there. This is a chimney. They used to cover it with clay to insulate. There is a lot of straw on the roof. It served as insulation and shelter for mice.
тут вот еще
Wow! This is another cask made of solid wood.
бочоночек
How could it be carved out without splitting the wood?
из целого
These
дерева.
barrels were made of linden tree.
Вот так
It
вот.
doesn't crack when dried. Honey was stored in such barrels. And this cask has no handles. Looks like an old witch's vehicle from fairy tales. Nowadays, Ukrainian villages have changed a lot. The huts disappear and are replaced by modern cottages. Despite the globalization, Ukrainian spirit and some traditions in those places pass down through generations, which gives a unique ethnic flavor and authenticity to the local villages, which have totally disappeared in other parts of Ukraine. Ukraine is a wonderful country for living and traveling. I hope that very soon peace will come to its soil and everyone will be able to visit it safely to make sure that I'm right. While my house was renovated, I was traveling around the neighborhood. I bought a bicycle to make my acquaintance with distant areas easier, and now I can travel even off-road. It's nice that days are long in summer. Our country was blessed with fertile black soil, in which everything grows like crazy. Here, fruit trees are planted along the roads instead of ornamentals. Cherries, mulberries, apricots, apples, plums, pears, walnuts. Everyone walking along the street can pick up a ripe fruit and taste it. No one will complain or reproach you. You can find such an abundance only here, in central Ukraine. If you decide to have a snack while walking, you can stop and eat as much as you want and take as much as you can. There is enough fruit for everyone.
Всего этого добра на всех хватит. Вот просто Берите
What a beauty!
и набирайте
A
сюда.
real sunny fruit.
Красота.
You can eat apricots
Всё это
without
чистое,
washing. There
без
is no
всякой
dirt on
химии,
them.
грязи. Ну просто мед.
Sweet like honey,
Полный
very
солнца,
tasty and juicy.
сока,
These apricots are
свободы
full of sun,
и
juice,
простора.
freedom, and space. There is a large apricot tree in my yard. It gave a huge crop this year. Waking up every morning, instead of physical exercise, I take buckets and collect the last night harvest. If I don't do that, it will be hard to walk around the yard, as the fruit will attract swarms of bees and flies. I have to dump the bigger share of apricots into the compost pit. I can't handle that amount alone. I
Абрикосы
still
надо
wash the
помыть.
apricots, though they are clean. There is no dirt and dust on them.
Ведерко. Пока. Вкуснятина.
Yummy!
Ну вот.
I need 2 pots to cook a 5-minute jam.
Две кастрюли, одна большая.
The bigger one is for apricots and the smaller one for sterilizing jars.
Заливать банку,
I usually take jars with screw lids.
которая
They are easy, reliable and simple in use.
надежно.
I prefer half-liter jars.
Погружаем воду сюда. А в эту кастрюлю
I put the jar and the lid into the water and start to pit the apricots and put them into the bigger pot.
сажень под косточки.
Divide them in halves, throw off the pits and put them in the pot. When the pot is half full of apricots, I pour some sugar on them, an approximate amount, without strict proportions.
50 сахара.
200 grams of sugar will be enough for a 3-liter pot. We don't need more. It is not a commercial jam, it's a natural product.
Насыпали сахар
After adding sugar, let's fill the pot to the top.
до полного. Чтобы была полная кастрюля. Уже немножко наполнилось. И сюда нужно
When it's full, we add some water to cover the bottom to prevent sticking and fire the stove. Put it on low. The heating should be gradual.
или же электроплиту.
Let's fire the stove under the smaller pot to heat the jar. You need to rotate it for better sterilization.
Ее нужно немножко вращать, чтобы стерилизовалось. И абрикосы постепенно начинают нагреваться. И добираем.
Apricots can stick to the bottom. That is why we have to stir them with a spoon. You need to do it carefully, otherwise fruits will be smashed. Don't forget to stir them because they heat up quickly.
Ложкой
Soon apricots will start leaking juice and stirring will become easier.
происходило равномерное прогревание. Ну, помешивать нужно. И не пригорит. И абрикоски будут целые. Ну, когда чистишь абрикосы, нельзя.
I like eating some while cleaning them.
Ну,
You eat one half of the fruit and another one goes into the pot. They are so nice and tasty.
половинку съедаешь, одну кастрюльку кладешь. До чего вкусное.
Let's stir the jam for even heating,
Вся масса
and as soon as it boils, pour apricots into the jar.
закипать.
There is no need to boil them long, because they may get overcooked.
Не нужно
The empty jar and the lid also have to be boiled.
переваривалось.
Let's rotate it and pull out of the water.
Чтобы кипела вода обязательно, где банка стерилизуется. Достаем банку. Вот. Ставим ее на
Take a kitchen spoon, dip it into the boiling water and pour apricots in the jar.
Насыпать. Засыпаем все это в банку. Так получается чуть ли не компот. Заливаем полную-полную под самый верх. Убираем не лишнее. Достаем крышечку, она тоже у нас кипит.
Fill the jar to the very top, remove the extra, put on the lid and close it tightly. You need to have a towel ready. Clean the jar with a towel, put it upside down and cover it.
Вверх ногами банку. Вверх ногами нужно ставить. И накрываем ее. Берем следующую
Take another jar, boil it, and the lid, and repeat the whole process.
крышечку сюда же. И будем наливать следующую банку. И так все банки по очереди. После того, как все банки
When all jars are full, it's necessary to cover them for cooling down slowly. When the jars are cooled, I turn them over, check them, and take to the cellar or pantry. Let them be stored and wait till their time comes.
закрыты и убираем или в подвал, или в кладовку, куда вам нужно их убирать. Все, пусть стоят, ждут своего часа.
This is my underground refrigerator and the bomb shelter. Here I keep all my stocks for winter. Everyone has such a cellar in the village. They call them here a loch. That's how I'm gradually making supplies for the winter. I will eat them during the winter. Pickled zucchinis, cucumbers, tomatoes, peppers, stewed fruit, liquor, apple jam. It's a 5-minute jam too. It's prepared the same way as the apricots one. These are fresh pears and fresh cucumbers. There is honey standing in the niche. All in all, I have everything I need for wintering. I finished preserving the apricots and some of my 5-minute jam is left. Now I am going to try my product. Usually I eat this jam with cottage cheese. To be exact, with real homemade cottage cheese. For sure you need to add some honey, because I didn't put much sugar in the 5-minute jam. I prefer locust tree honey, because it doesn't crystallize and mixes well. I take the cottage cheese, add my apricots and pour some honey. 2 teaspoons will suffice for this dish.
На такую тарелочку, если 2 ложечки меда положите, будет замечательно.
It's wonderful. We need to mix all of it thoroughly. Let's sit down. I don't want to tread on any apricots. They are constantly dropping from the tree. Now is the most pleasant moment of the whole story. Let's try this sunny dish. Let's have a breakfast. This is how village breakfast looks like. Delicious. I didn't waste my time. Frankly speaking, apricot is my favorite fruit. That's why I preserve a lot of them. Cook the 5-minute jam, put whole fruits into the freezer, freeze them blended in jars, and also dry them. Apricots in any form are tasty, flavored, and desirable fruits for everyday eating. Try them and see for yourselves.